So today we're going to break down LindaAnn LoSchiavo's award-nominated prose poem, The Meeting. Now, this is a piece that takes a classic monster, one we all know and love, and uses it to tell a very different and very modern kind of horror story. All right, let's get into it.
The story kicks off with this iconic line, right? It immediately pulls us into that familiar Gothic world, and we think we know where this is going. A dark road, an unsuspecting victim, a predator lurking in the shadows. But what this poem does is use that very premise to hunt a monster that's, well, a lot more common.
And that's the real genius here. The Meeting takes the whole werewolf trope and just flips it on its head. It uses the monster not as some supernatural threat, but as a lens to look at the all-too-real horrors of domestic violence. So let's see how this incredible story unfolds and, along the way, just completely dismantles our expectations.
Okay, so our story begins with two people. Each of them is right on the edge of a moment that's about to change everything. Their paths are about to cross on this lonely road, under a sky that the poem describes as being pink as a wolf's tongue.
And right away, we see these two parallel anxieties just building. On one hand, you've got the driver, completely lost in his own head, fixated on something that's about to happen later, and at the exact same time, you have this woman making a final desperate decision. For her, tonight is the night she finally gets out.
And this is it. This is the moment their worlds collide. She's just slammed the door in her old life, she steps onto the road, suitcase right there beside her, and sticks her thumb out. And just then, a late model sedan comes around a blind curve. And inside, the driver, caught up in his own storm of thoughts.
Now, normally, he'd just drive right past a hitchhiker. But this time, it's different. He sees her injuries, a black eye, a fresh bruise on her arm, and something primal inside him, what the poem calls the wolf, wakes up. But here's the thing. It's not with hunger. It's with recognition. And he hits the brakes.
So she gets in the car. He doesn't say a word, just hands her a sandwich and a coffee he had on the passenger seat. But instead of relief, this new kind of tension just fills the silence as the driver starts to piece her story together, all without a single word being said.
And as she shifts around in her seat, he spots more bruises on her legs. This is where we get a really powerful glimpse inside his head. See, he doesn't see prey, he sees a born victim. He recognizes the signs of abuse instantly because, as we're about to find out, he's intimately familiar with the kind of violence that causes those scars.
So seeing her pain actually triggers something deep inside him. The poem calls it a catalyst for his disease, a cursed memory that's clawing to get out. In other words, seeing the victim forces him to confront the predator, the one that lives inside of him.
And this, right here, is the heart of the poem. We need to understand this. The werebeast isn't just some monster. It's a metaphor for a very specific kind of male violence. It's that throat-dark rage, which the poem says gets passed down through an infamous brotherhood of men who use fear and abuse to get power. It's a powerful commentary on this cycle of violence that gets learned, gets inherited, and desperately needs to be broken.
And this is the life she's running from. The poem just paints these visceral, gut-wrenching pictures of her reality. You know, her home wasn't a home. It was a Bermuda Triangle of conflict. Her abuser didn't just hurt her body, he drained her spirit, carving his initials into her very soul.
As they keep driving, her suspicion starts to creep in. She notices the driver has this weird smell she can't place. And then, for just a second, she swears she sees his eyes glow in the dark. It's this uncanny, surreal sight. She just writes it off as a trick of the light. But that uneasy feeling, it doesn't go away. You have to wonder, did she just escape one monster, only to get trapped in a car with another one?
And this brings us to the final act. They pull off the parkway, and the night just swallows the road ahead. Her anxiety is through the roof, and this is where the story takes its final, absolutely stunning turn.
So instead of turning down some dark, scary back road, which, let's be honest, we were all kind of expecting, he pulls up to a traffic light. He points up the block to a bus depot, giving her a clear shot to safety, and then he just shoves a wad of cash into her hands. I mean, nobody saw that coming.
And his parting words are so rushed, almost frantic. There's no creepy, lingering threat, no sinister goodbye. Just this urgent, desperate need to be somewhere else. He's already pulling away before she can even properly shut the door, leaving her on the curb, totally confused but safe.
So the question is, where was he rushing off to?
Well, the poem follows him. He drives to a dead-end lane and pulls up to this low, kind of barracks-like building. A man is waiting for him outside. Meeting's just starting, the man says. And the final pieces are all falling into place.
And then we get the reveal. Inside, a handmade sign on an easel announces his destination. He wasn't hunting a victim. He was running late for a support group, a meeting for men who are fighting their own violent impulses, their own inner wolf. He isn't the monster who hurt her. He's a man who is desperately trying not to become one.
And this is the profound question the poem just leaves us sitting with. The driver recognized her pain because he understands the rage that causes it. And by choosing to help her, he's actually performing an act of solidarity against the very brotherhood he's trying to escape. It just forces us to completely redefine what a monster is, asking us, who's the real monster here? The abuser she fled from, or the man who is confronting the beast inside himself and doing the hard work to break the cycle?